found a Popsicle puppy. A freezing puppy, abandoned in the snow, clings to life until one act of kindness changes everything. This is Biga's incredible journey from near death to a loving home. Something stirred deep in the woman's chest. Without thinking, she reached out and gently lifted the fragile creature. The touch made the puppy flinch, whether from the cold or terror. She couldn't tell, but she held it close, feeling the sharp tremors through its tiny body. "I won't leave you here," she whispered softly, pressing it to her chest. The cold was merciless. Every step toward her car was a battle against the biting wind that cut through her coat. The puppy continued to shiver, its body too weak to generate enough warmth to fight off the ice. Without hesitation, she shrugged off her coat, wrapping it snugly around the tiny frame, pressing the puppy close. Slipping into the driver's seat, she cranked the heater to full blast. The rush of warm air filled the car, thawing frozen fingertips and breathing life back into frozen lungs. The puppy nestled timidly against her, but the shivering continued. She stroked its damp fur, feeling how delicate it was beneath her fingers. Frozen Shell now stirred with curiosity. It moved tentatively around the small apartment, sniffing corners and testing boundaries. Still weak, still recovering, but unmistakably alive. The vet clinic was closed for the night, so she gave the puppy water, letting it sip slowly while she stroked its fur. They were still strangers, but a silent bond was forming. As the hours passed, the woman realized something profound. She was no longer just a passerby who stopped to help. She was a dog owner now. The makeshift bed was hastily assembled. She had no proper supplies, no cardboard box or cushion made for puppies this small, so she scavenged around the apartment, gathering scraps. A storage bin became a temporary bed, lined with a soft piece cut from her older dog's mat. The puppy curled into the tiny nest, finally sinking into sleep without fear. Day 3, a visitor. Her uncle came by to check on her, and by God, when he saw the tiny dog curled in the bin, he smiled warmly. "He's small but tough," he said, kneeling to stroke Biga's head. "I want to build him a proper doghouse," she said. "Something sturdy and warm. He deserves that much." Her uncle nodded. "I'll help you. Let's sketch out some plans." Together, they spent the afternoon measuring and drawing, working out how to build a small shelter that would protect Biga from the harsh weather. She calculated the cost, about 700 yuan for materials, but it felt worth every penny. Day 7, small triumphs. Biga was growing stronger. His fur was glossy now, his bright eyes full of curiosity. He had learned to trust the woman and even followed her around the apartment. That morning, she found him waiting at the door, tail wagging eagerly. "Ready for a walk?" she asked, slipping on her coat. Outside, the cold bit into their cheeks, but Biga trotted along happily, his tiny paws leaving prints in the snow. They passed by neighbors who smiled at the little dog wrapped in a warm scarf. The woman paused to let Biga sniff a patch of grass. He looked up at her, tongue lolling in a happy pant. "You're home now," she whispered. Day 12, the doghouse. After a week of work, the doghouse was finally complete. It was simple but sturdy, with insulated walls and a soft blanket inside. She placed Biga inside, watching as he explored his new home. He sniffed the walls, circled the cozy space, then curled up, looking back at her with trusting eyes. "You'll never be cold again," she promised. Day 15, building trust. Biga had started settling in. Every morning, the woman woke to find him curled up next to her bed, peeking at her with sleepy eyes. He had learned that mornings meant belly rubs and soft words, comfort he had never known before. Though still cautious, Biga was warming up to his new life. He followed her around the house, watching intently. She noticed how whenever she stepped into another room, he waited patiently at the doorway, as if making sure she wouldn't disappear. That day, she introduced Biga to toys, a soft plushie and a small rope for tugging. At first, the puppy hesitated, unsure what to do, but curiosity won out. Soon, he was biting and wrestling with a stuffed animal like a tiny warrior, eyes bright and full of joy. Day 18, learning names. One afternoon, she sat on the floor, gently calling his name. Baiga, come here. At first, he looked confused, tilting his head. But when she offered a small treat, his tail wagged furiously, and he inched closer. Good boy, she cheered. They repeated this several times, and each success built Biga's confidence. Day 22, kitchen companion. Baiga had developed little routines. He loved following her into the kitchen, where she cooked meals especially for him, boiled chicken, carrots, and rice mixed into soft, nourishing dishes. He would sit patiently, tail wagging, waiting for his bowl. One day, she caught him stealing a carrot from the counter when she wasn't looking. She laughed, picking him up and giving him a gentle scolding. No more sneaking, Baiga. His puppy eyes were so innocent, she couldn't stay mad. Day 25, growing confidence. By the 25th day, Baiga was no longer afraid of his new world. He had developed small routines, trotting beside her in the kitchen, curling up at her feet while she worked, eagerly wagging his tail when it was time to eat. One morning, she noticed something new. When she stepped outside with her big dog, Baiga instinctively followed. He was learning from his older companion, mirroring his movements with enthusiasm. It was time for training. Using soft encouragement and patience, she began teaching Baiga simple commands: sit, stay, and come. At first, Baiga was puzzled, tilting his head in confusion. But with gentle repetition, he began to understand. The first time he sat on command, she rewarded him with a treat and endless praise. His tail wagged so furiously, his whole body shook. The training wasn't just about discipline. It was about building trust, proving to Baiga that this home was more than shelter. It was love, safety, and guidance. Day 30, a life changed. Biga's story was no longer just about survival. It was about belonging, about home. The woman looked down at the little dog curled in her lap, eyes shining with happiness and trust. He had come so far from that frozen night when she first found him. In Biga's soft breathing and gentle nudges, she heard the quiet promise of a future filled with warmth and love. And Baiga had finally found his forever home.